Hello, welcome to Anita the Pedagogue channel. Today we continue with our poetry analysis. Today our focus is on the poem The Spirit is Too Blunt an Instrument, and this poem is written by Stevenson. For our lesson content, we will take a look at the biography of the poet, an analysis of the title of the poem, its structure and form, stanza by stanza analysis of it, the literary devices, the themes, and I'll share with you some likely examination questions. Let's begin with the biography of Annie Stevenson. Let's now move on and look at our poem. The Spirit is Too Blunt an Instrument. The spirit is too blunt an instrument to have made this baby. Nothing so unskillful as human passions could have managed the intricate, exacting particulars, the tiny blind bones with the manipulating tendons, the knee and the knuckle bones, the resilient fine meshings of ganglia and vertebrae, the chain of the difficult spine. Observe the distinct eyelashes and the sharp crescent fingernails, the shell-like complexity of the ear, with its firm involution, concentric in miniature to minute ossicles. Imagine the infinitesimal capillaries, the flawless connections of the lungs, the invisible neural filaments through which the completed body already answers to the brain. Then name any passion or sentiment possessed of the simplest accuracy. No desire of affection could have done with practice what habit has done perfectly, indifferently, through the body's ignorant precision. It is left to the vagaries of the mind to invent love and despair and anxiety and their pain. Let's look at the structure and form of this poem. It is a 3-stanza poem with 27 lines. The 3 stanzas could imply the 3 trimesters it takes to have a baby because the subject matter of the poem centers around the formation of a baby. Each of the stanzas has 9 uneven lines, and the 9 lines could also suggest the months it takes for a baby to be born. The stanzas are free verse with uneven lines, even though the end word of each beginning stanza rhymes. There is enjambment throughout the poem. Also, there is a use of visual imagery and the mention of concrete nouns which are body parts. The diction has some scientific and sophisticated terms such as tendons, ganglia, vertebrae, infinitesimal, concentric, vagaries, ossicles, involutions, intricate, and spirits. So let's look at the meaning of some of these words. Tendons are a flexible but inelastic cord of muscular fibrous collagen tissues that usually attaches itself to muscle of a bone, and ganglia is a structure containing several nerve cell bodies. Vertebrae means each of the series of small bones forming the backbone. Infinitesimal just means tiny or minute. Concentric denotes circles or arcs, like going round. Vagaries also implies fancies or unexpected and inexplicable change in a situation. Ossicles, they are small bones, especially one of those in the middle ear. Involutions also means the act or an instance of unfolding. Intricate means complicated or detailed. And spirit is the non-physical part of a person, which is the seat of emotions and character, that is the soul. Now, the tone of the speaker is that of excitement and awe at creation of a baby, looking at its complexity based on the descriptions given. Let's move on to the title. The title, The Spirit is Too Blunt an Instrument. Here, the speaker implies through the title that the human spirit has a disadvantage, which is the inability to serve as an instrument, which metaphorically implies a medium from which a baby is formed. So the spirit is unable to make a baby, in simple words. Let's take a look at an analysis of the first stanza. So when you look at the first stanza, the speaker explains the reason why the human spirit is blunt or inadequate when it comes to forming a baby. According to the speaker, even human passions cannot create a baby. Using caesura, the speaker gives a pause in line 5 to clarify the things that make the formation of a baby special and fascinating, using some concrete nouns specific to human anatomy, like blind bones, manipulating tendons, the knee, knuckle bones, ganglia, and vertebrae. Also, the chain of the difficult spine. And you realize there's the use of some personification to describe these concrete nouns, like bones being blind and tendons being manipulating, or spine being difficult. So these descriptions emphasize the complexity of forming a baby. We can also say that the 9 lines of the stanza may also suggest the 9 months it takes for a baby to be born. Let's move on to the second stanza. So in the second stanza, the speaker invites the reader to join him in appreciating the formation of a baby, the complexity of it, by instructing the reader to observe the vivid and individual parts of his body, such as the eyelashes, the fingernails, the ear of the tiny or miniature human. The speaker calls for the reader to now imagine the invisible anatomy of the baby, that is, its internal organs such as ossicles, capillaries, lungs, filaments, and their flawless connection to the functional brain. The constant and jump lines may imply the exhilarating and exciting feeling from the intriguing formation of a human. In the third and final stanza, the speaker shifts the discussion on the flawless special formation of the body to the inaccuracy of human passion or sentiment. The speaker argues that human habits outweigh the mind, or helps the body to create a perfect baby, which the mind cannot achieve even with practice, because it produces human desire and affection. The mind produces human desire and affection. In addition, using an oxymoron, the speaker explains the body parts are able to unconsciously yet impeccably perform their functions. And we see that from lines 23 to 24 indifferently through the body's ignorant precision. In lines 25 to 27, the speaker explains that human mood is the responsibility of the mind. The mind invents vagaries, that is, fancies or illogical moods like love and despair and anxiety and their pain. And even though the mind is seen as having a high cognitive performance, the speaker wants to note that it lacks the ability to form a baby, and this also implies that the formation of a baby could be divine. Let's look at some literary devices in this poem. There is a heavy use of enjambments. Most of the lines, ideas run on, and we see that in line 3 to 9, line 10 to 14, line 14 to 18, line 19 to 20, line 21 to 24, line 25 to 27. The entire poem, it's enjambed. You need to keep reading on in order to get the complete meaning of the poem. There's also the use of caesura, that is a pause, a deliberate pause in the poem, and we see that in lines 5, exactly the particulars, the speaker pauses. And also in line 14, ossicles, there is what? A pause, that is a full stop. There's also the use of imagery, the show-like complexity of the ear, describing how the ear is visually. There's also the use of alliteration, and we see that from line 6 to 7. blind bones with their manipulating tendons, so blind bones, and also the knee and the knuckle bones, so knee and knuckle. These consonants create some sound effect in the poem. There's also the use of personification in the description of the body parts, the bones. The bones are described as being blind and the tendons as being manipulating. And we also have the resilient fine meshes of ganglia. So the ganglia is described as being resilient. These are human attributes given to these body parts. We see that from lines 5 to 9. There's also the use of oxymoron. So through the body's ignorant precision. Ignorant, unaware, yet precise. So the two contrasting words are put together here. Also, we can also talk about the use of asyndeton, that is the omission or absence of a conjunction between parts of a sentence. And we see that from lines 11 to 14, where the speaker refuses to use a conjunction like and. Also in lines 11 to 14, the speaker decides to use a list and refuses to use a conjunction and to link these lists he has put together. So we see that from these lines. Observe the distinct eyelashes and sharp crescent fingernails, the shell-like complexity of the ear with its firm involutions, concentric in the miniature to minute ossicles. So here, there isn't much of conjunctions used to link them. Also, imagine the infinitesimal capillaries, the flawless connections of the lungs, the invisible neural filaments. So it's a continuous list without a conjunction. And this also gives the idea that the speaker was really excited and just wanted to keep telling us about the complexity or the wonder in the creation of a baby. Let's move on to the themes. So in the poem, the spirit is too blunt an instrument. We can deduce the theme of creation and complexity of life. The poem explores the intricate creation and complexity of life, emphasizing the meticulous details and precision involved in the formation of a human body. The detailed description of the baby's anatomy and the use of personification to describe them from the tiny blind bones to the resilient fine meshes of ganglia and vertebrae from lines 5 and 8 highlights the awe-inspiring complexity of human life. The speaker argues that the human spirit is unable to achieve this delicate and intriguing formation. The spirit is too blunt an instrument to have made this baby. This poem's free verse structure contributes to the complexity of the formation of a baby, as there is no simple, comprehensible structure when it comes to how a baby is just put together. The whole process is pretty divine or very complex. Let's move to the next theme, human limitations and divine precision. The poem contrasts human limitations with divine precision, suggesting that the creation of life go beyond human capabilities. The speaker acknowledges that human passions and emotions are incapable of achieving the level of precision and intricacy found in the human body, suggesting a higher power or intelligence at work in creation as indicated in lines 21 to 24. No desire or affection could have done with practice what habit has done perfectly, indifferently, through the body's ignorant precision. So stating that no desire or affection could have done this suggests that the formation of a baby is possibly divine. So there is a divine power that makes the body function so perfectly. Now let's look at the theme, the mind's role in emotions. The poem delves into the role of the mind in inventing emotions such as love, despair, and anxiety, suggesting that these sentiments are products of the mind rather than the body, and usually these products end up causing pain. While the body operates with flawless precision, the mind is responsible for creating these emotions and feelings, illustrating the contradiction between the physical body and the mental realm of emotions. These emotions cannot compare with the divine nature of creation. Let's move on to the next theme, ignorance and precision. The poem juxtaposes ignorance with precision, highlighting how the body operates with intricate accuracy despite its lack of conscious awareness. The body's ignorance precision showcases the paradoxical nature of the human body, which carries out complex functions with perfect or the simplest accuracy without the need for conscious thoughts, emphasizing the intriguing formation of a baby. Now I'd like to share with you some likely examination questions which you need to try. What is the central theme of the poem? How does the poem describe the process of creating life? Identify and explain the use of enjambments in the poem. What is Annie Stevenson's perspective on the human body as depicted in the poem? Discuss how the poem portrays the complexity of a human child. Describe the tone of the speaker throughout the poem. Analyze the structure and form of the poem. What imagery does Stevenson use to convey her message? How does the poem address the role of emotional passion in creation? In what ways does the poem explore human biology? Caesarea. Explain the effects of Caesarea in the poem. How does the poem allude to life's possibilities? Now this brings us to the end of our lesson today. Do like, comment, and share. Make sure you subscribe to this channel. Until I come your way again, keep learning and be the best version of yourself.